Sir? What is it, Robinson?
Robert, sir, nearly right. The boy smiled encouragingly at the grey-suited head teacher, who was looking over the heads of noisy pupils swarming through the corridor.
Keep the noise down,
he bellowed like a drill sergeant.
This is a school, not feeding time at the zoo, and tuck your shirt in, Dugdale.
There was a pause in the thronging as the children looked round. Who was Dugdale? The headmaster turned back towards his office and was surprised to see the boy still there.
Well, what is it?
I was going to ask about the possibility of getting a new football strip for the Year 10 school team, sir. The season is about to start, and the kit's so old now. The colour's washed out, and most of it has shrunk, sir. The Year 7s wouldn't fit into it. Not that they'd want to. The head appeared to listen, but his face betrayed a lack of concentration, having dismissed the request after the first few words. So what do you think, sir?
Absolutely not, Robertson. We don't have money for luxuries like football strips. Now, off to your next lesson. I've a governor's meeting in 5 minutes.
Watching the head as he strode towards his office, the boy grinned. This wasn't finished. The following morning, safe behind the door of his office, the head began to open his emails, a rapidly cooling cup of coffee, leaving wet rings on his paper-strewn desk. After 2 unsettling letters from angry parents disagreeing with changes to the school dinner menu and asking why their daughter couldn't wear her new high-heeled shoes to school, he scrolled absently through the rest and paused. That's more like it. The subject read, "Thank you to a great headmaster." He clicked it open and began to read. Dear Sir, after our friendly conversation in the corridor yesterday, I thought it might be helpful to send some examples of websites that produce school sports kits with lists of prices and, as you will see, at very reasonable rates. Perhaps the PTA could contribute towards the cost. Thank you in anticipation, Joe Roberts. The head scowled. He thought back to the last parent-teacher meeting with the arguments over the forthcoming school fete and the usual moaning because no teachers ever came to these meetings. And didn't they want the little extras for the school, like the proposed fountain in the school entrance, celebrating some past alumni now starring in a popular TV soap? Absently, the head clicked on a given link and scrolled through photos of kits for the various school sports teams. Different colours and designs dazzled from the screen, but the thought of approaching the PT chairperson, Mrs. Genfield, who had a daughter at the school and was pushing for ballet to be included in the PE curriculum, it was too unnerving, and he clicked off, binning the email. No, not important. Too much else to worry about. He picked up his cold coffee and headed for the staff room. Perhaps there would be biscuits. Assembly the following day, and the head, frowning from behind the rostra, glared down at the pupils pouring into the hall. Rows and rows of young faces, some smirking, some glowering, some blank, but all of them obviously somewhere else and would be for the next quarter of an hour or so. Rows and rows of hair colours and styles, rows and rows of purple sweatshirts, and one pink. "Robeson!" All the pupils looked round. Who was Robeson? "Robertson! Robinson! Whatever your name is, you on the back row, stand up!" The boys stood up. The hall sniggered. "What is the meaning of this?" The boy appeared confused, but the 300 grinning faces knew. "Your sweatshirt, boy. One of the first and most important of school rules is the wearing of the agreed school uniform. Grey trousers, black shoes,
white polo shirt and, slowing down to emphasise the final piece of clothing, purple sweatshirt. The boy returned the head's thunderous frown with a seemingly innocent expression. But it is uniform, sir. It's the school football top, sir. We're needed in our football kit for next lesson, so I dressed early to save time, sir, in case assembly runs over. The hall sniggered again. Out, stormed the head. Stand outside my office. I'll see you later. Right, the rest of you? All things bright and beautiful. Everyone stand. Eyes on the screen, Radcliffe. Who was Radcliffe? After droning through every verse of the hymn and then listening numbly to an avalanche of notices, which included a reminder to keep to the left in corridors and carry backpacks on both shoulders, the assembly finally ground to a halt. And, directing the deputy to oversee the filing out, the head swept from the hall towards his office. A line of 4 youths lounged outside the door. Lateness, no homework for the 12th time, drawing rude pictures on the dinner hall notice board, and the pink boy. You, fired the head, pointing at the boy. In! The door slammed behind them, and the remaining pupils elbowed themselves into a good listening position. School football kit? It's pink, and the arms don't even cover the elbows. You must think me an idiot, boy. This isn't a football kit. It's a Year 1 netball top. He really could bellow, and his angry pacing across the office floor would normally terrify, although perhaps only temporarily, most of the pupils who were sent to his room. But the boy remained polite and calm just inside the door. No, sir, I'd never think you an idiot. But it is a football shirt, sir. I told you about the colour and size when we talked in the corridor. Do you remember, sir? The head stopped his pacing and turned to look at the boy. He really did look ridiculous. If the whole team were rigged out in that, whatever must the visiting teams think? He tried to think back to the last football match he'd watched. Probably the first one after he'd been appointed. Not a great lover of sport, especially on freezing Saturday mornings. Can I go now, sir? Asked the boy politely. The photographer's coming from the local newspaper. All the local school teams are being done, sir. I thought the rest of the team might be wearing theirs in assembly too, but perhaps they were embarrassed. It's understandable, isn't it? And then again, I'm not sure if we can make a team this year, sir, anyway. Not with this kit. Boys and girls who like their sport might start looking at other schools with a better reputation. Better and newer sports kits. Numbers will go down, sir. A glazed look descended upon the head, who had finally slumped down in his chair under the onslaught of the boy's information. Photograph in the local paper, numbers on roll falling. What would his colleagues think? He could hear them all now, sniggering behind their briefcases at the next heads meeting. Get changed and back to lessons, boy. It's not convenient for a school football team photo today. Exams in class 3. I'll get my secretary to phone and apologise. The boy remained, standing solemnly by the door, a determined glint in his eye. Did you ask the PTA, sir? Haven't had a meeting yet. Next week. The head looked down at his desk and began to shuffle his papers with apparent purpose. Would you like me to order a catalogue for you, sir, so you can take it with you? Leave it. He looked up at the boy in his dusty, washed-out pink shirt, which was even struggling to cover his navel. Just go. Thank you, sir, said the boy. I'm sure Mr. Jones, the teacher who manages the football team, will look forward to hearing from you. And he turned towards the door, a secret grin creeping across his lips. Wearily, the head slumped forward, elbows on his desk, cradling his aching forehead
in sweaty hands. There were still the 3 pupils outside, waiting to be bawled at. But they could wait. He opened his email account and clicked on trash. The email with the website link should be there somewhere.